This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Tiny at Obsessive Tiny on Twitter.
And this is Mike, and you can find me at I am Mike White on Twitter.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. Anyway, let's not do that. Welcome, guys, to our first in a planned 4-episode summer-long exploration of Adam Sandler called Summer of Sandler.
Yeah, and I can't wait. I came up with this a little while back. We were trying to think of episode ideas, bouncing ideas off of each other, and kind of I wanted to think of something we could do a whole summer long. And so toward the end of the school year, I decided to start showing some Adam Sandler movies to my students because it was the only thing I could think of that would have some sort of thematic component to it. And I said, what if we did the Summer of Sandler? And we started a couple weeks ago when we were at Indie PopCon. We decided to watch Blended together. And so we did, and we kind of talked about, was there a fall in Adam Sandler's career? Has there been a dramatic drop-off, or has it been peaks and valleys the whole time? And so it's really kind of an exploration I've been wanting to do for a couple of years, because sometimes I'll love Adam Sandler's work, notably Spanglish is very good. I really like Reign Over Me is awesome, and then just some turds. I remember being angry that he made the movie Jack and Jill. So we're excited to be talking about the Summer of Sandler. This is, like Matt said, this is part 1, and we're calling it part 1, but it's also kind of 2 eras in Adam Sandler's career. We're going to talk about his star days. We'll call it before Billy Madison and then after Billy Madison. So this is the 1990s. And so we should probably just start by saying everybody knows Adam Sandler. He was on SNL for several years, but his first movie role was Going Overboard. Did you guys see this movie?
In preparation for this episode, I actually rented it off of Amazon.
You brave son of a bitch.
Digital, yeah. Dude, seriously. It was such a waste of time and money.
It is. I've told people multiple times that I have 3 movies that I hate more than any other movies. My 3 least favorites. They are Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, Pauly Shore is Dead, and then Going Overboard with Adam Sandler as Shecky Moskowitz.
So you have seen it?
Oh, I've seen Going Overboard,
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. When did you watch it?
I saw it during his heyday, actually.
Oh, wow.
I saw it when I first discovered Billy Madison or Adam Sandler through Billy Madison. I was a huge Billy Madison fan. As soon as it came out, I anticipated Happy Gilmore highly. And then somewhere around there, maybe a little later, maybe 98 or so, I rented a copy of Going Overboard. And I was so angry. I might have thought that it was a new movie of his, like one that I missed.
Okay.
And then as soon as it started, you can tell he's younger. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. Because I was not very familiar with him on SNL.
Right. He only did like a year or 2.
On SNL?
Yeah.
90 to 95.
Yeah,
oh, heck.
5 years.
Wow, I was way off.
I don't even really remember that much of what he did. Was the Hanukkah song an SNL thing or just...
yeah, that was an SNL thing. He did the songs. He did the opera boy, the opera singer.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And he did Schmidt's Gay Beer. I think it's Schmidt's Gay Beer, which is one of my favorite my favorite SNL skits of all time. It's filmed like a beer commercial, and Adam Sandler and Chris Farley go in, and it's like this old dilapidated house, and somebody busts out the Schmidt's Gay Beer, and everything gets awesome, and it's a pool party, except that they're gay.
Oh, I remember that now.
Okay.
They're all wearing like multicolored Speedos and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like doing what men would do at a regular old pool party, but they're looking at dudes. It wouldn't play as well today.
Right.
But in the early 90s,
he's probably most famous on SNL for the Lunch Lady song.
Probably the Lunch Lady song.
La
Yeah.
Pedro, la Pedro.
We'll talk about. Oh, yeah, I got something to say about that later when we talk about Billy Madison. But going overboard for me was just, man, I had such a tough time watching this movie. It was so bad. I like 5 minutes into the movie, he pops up and basically outlines exactly what the movie is. So it's like his quote is, "What you're about to see is a fictitious, loosely thrown together story about a sea cruise waiter, me right here, who dreams of becoming a stand-up comedian. This movie is based entirely around the fact that we had access to this nice big boat here and a lot of good-looking women." So,
wow.
So I don't know if there was a script or what, but it was very much just guerrilla filmmaking and just really bad everything.
If we're charting the career, there's nothing here that gives any indication of the success that he would have later. Right. And make no mistake, he was successful, and he was very good at what he did. No matter how you feel about him, for at least a couple years, he was very good. There's none of that here.
Yeah. And even moving on to Shakes the Clown, I mean, that was his second movie, written, directed, and starring Bobcat Goldthwait. He was, Sandler was a supporting character. That was still, I mean, I wasn't a fan of the movie either, but, and Sandler had one good, like, social awkward scene when he was talking to a woman in that movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great, and it also kind of made me think, maybe he's a little better when he's just playing kind of the subdued or the straight man kind of character.
Yeah, that movie was almost a good idea. No, it was a good idea for a movie. It just, because Bobcat Goldthwait has written and directed some movies lately that are fantastic. The World's Greatest Dad and I think God Bless America is what it's called. See both of those. They're terrific. And so I think there were some flashes of his talent in that movie, Bobcat Goldthwait, but it just didn't flesh out. But Adam Sandler, I thought he was kind of fun in the movie. He was charming. And like you said, that one scene where he's kind of hitting on the waitress, that was fun, but you could kind of see the flashes of his talent as well, Adam Sandler. So
right, and he was kind of the movie itself just really.
I haven't seen the movie. Okay. Is it a starring role?
No, it's purely supporting. He plays a clown friend of Bobcat's, but the movie itself is just kind of depressing. Like I have a note that says, "Movie is kind of depressing, much like clowns are, generally speaking." So
yeah.
So yeah, and then after that he had like a cameo in Coneheads, which
everybody was in. And I know you didn't want to talk about Coneheads, or you were not looking forward to seeing it, but I used to love that movie.
Me too. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but yeah, it's a classic movie.
And then Matt, do you have anything to say about Coneheads?
No, I couldn't get into it.
Okay. So he stepped it up, we'll call it the big leagues. He was in Airheads, but that was really more of a Brendan Fraser vehicle.
And it was a great movie.
It is a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
And again, he played a supporting role that he was kind of subdued in it. He was kind of the lighthearted kind of, not foil? I don't know. He was something in it. He was kind of played a little lower, I guess.
Yeah. I have a theory that I'll present at the end.
Okay.
For it.
Cool.
Yeah.
For him?
For this first segment of his career. I feel like these first several movies, I feel like since he wasn't the star, he's kind of eagerly trying to grab the attention of the audience with these first couple performances. I haven't seen the Going Overboard, but I saw Shakes the Clown, and I've seen Coneheads, and I love Airheads. And I think with those roles, he was trying, no one knew who he was yet, and he was really trying to demonstrate how he was trying really hard. So that's what I think he was doing for these first couple movies.
Okay. Yeah. Have you guys seen Mixed Nuts?
No.
Okay, really quick, I just have a couple things about it. Mixed Nuts is a 1994. Nora Ephron wrote, and she may have directed it, but it stars Steve Martin. It's about a group of people at a crisis or suicide hotline who face eviction or something like that on Christmas Eve. And he plays a character that is kind of Sorry. I think he's kind of the character, the building's, he's either a tenant of the building or he's like the janitor or something like that. I don't know. But it was the first movie that I saw him use his kind of goofy voice, like his like, oh,
I know.
Yeah. And as soon as I heard it, it made me kind of dread watching the rest of his movies.
Oh no.
Cause honestly, to me, something about it is like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Wow.
It's so, cause it's
That's
so,
interesting.
yeah, there's something about it. It's so.
Well, save that because I think save that for a second because I think you'll have something to say. So that's the past. That's the early stuff. That's the SNL years. In 1995, he was either fired or quit. It's kind of the details on that are a little murky. I think he knew that he was going into film, so either way, I don't think he was too concerned with it. And he made his first starring vehicle, Billy Madison. How did you guys see this movie? How did you guys find Billy Madison?
Oh,
It was so long ago, I can't even remember.
I can't remember either.
I think I saw it for the first time on home video.
Yeah, me too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember if it was before or after that I listened to and re-listened to and re-listened to his comedy album, They're All Gonna Laugh at You.
Mm-hmm.
But those two are kind of intrinsically tied together with me as like my foray into Sandler.
Okay, that's interesting. That because I didn't look into his albums until a couple of years later, maybe not until 99 or 2000.
Oh wow!
So, did you see was Billy Madison the first Adam Sandler movie you ever saw? And I'm talking Adam Sandler movies. Basically, everything before Billy Madison doesn't count.
Right.
But is Billy Madison the first Adam Sandler movie you ever saw?
Yeah, it was, and I think I want to say that maybe my brother kind of turned me on to it. Because he loved it, and I loved it too. I really liked it as a kid. I thought it was hilarious.
I may have seen Airheads first. I can't remember.
Really?
It was so long.
Yeah, I did too. But again, I don't want to count it just because that's a Brendan Fraser movie, really.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
But yeah, I did too. That was a Billy Madison was a big part of my childhood. When we had John Dugan on the podcast, his daughter and I think his daughter introduced that movie to me, and we watched it several times. If I made a list of the movies I've seen the most, it's got to be in the top 3.
Nice.
Okay.
And I remember, or going back to watch the movie, I watched the movie about a week ago. I realized so much still of my vocabulary today is from that movie. A lot of the jokes I use, and so much of my humor from the 90s was from that movie. I looked up to Adam Sandler so much, and I can, watching it back then, watching it today and thinking back then, I can tell why it made such an impression on me as a youngster, but I definitely concluded by the end of watching it this time that most of my enjoyment today is from the nostalgia of it. Mm-hmm. It's really not a great movie.
It's not. And I when I started watching it, I kind of wrote down this note to kind of posit this question to you guys. It's his breakout hit, but is it good? And like viewing it now, it's a vehicle for Sandler to act goofy, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
It's
not good, and even worse, it's not even that funny.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Is the humor solely reliant on Sandler's randomness?
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of where it fails. Kind of fails, I guess. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, it's funny. If you were a kid in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was hilarious if you were a kid in the 90s. Yeah. It was your favorite movie if you were a kid in the 90s.
Yeah. And I think it's, based on what Mike said and based on my feelings towards it, I think it's kind of, I would say it borders on the impossible for people like us to watch the movie now objectively. So this question that we're trying to answer, was it ever actually a good movie, or did we just appreciate it because it was goofy, because we could connect to it as kids or something like that? I'm not sure that we're the best people to answer that, really. I think you need a fresh audience for it. But we can still try.
Yeah.
I think just to throw this in here, I think what I liked about the movie as a kid and still kind of enjoy about it now is the fact that I was watching it as a kid and there was this guy who was an adult in his, early 20s, and he still acted like a kid. He hung on to his goofiness and was able to, be goofy. And he had friends and all that stuff. I think it was like a pipe dream. As like a, 9 or 10-year-old watching the movie, I was like, oh man, I hope that I still have, obviously you don't want to be some bum who's just not doing anything and living in your parents' house.
Right.
Like I am now. But, you don't, not that I wanted to be that. It's just that I wanted to have that attitude still. I wanted to be able to laugh at stupid things and go to the local burger place and throw pickles on the glass and who would you rather bang, Jack Nicholson or Meg Ryan? Stuff like that. I think that's why I liked it at the time, and I can still have fun with it now.
Yeah. It's tough. I should say now that I'm going to try really hard not to quote any of the movies, unless I'm pointing out a particularly funny or particularly notable line. I'm going to try very hard not to, because it's something I did so much when I was younger, and I don't want to fall back on that. The movie made about $25.5 million, and it was a moderate success. It was bested very quickly by Happy Gilmore. So I've listened to Adam Sandler do Norm Macdonald's podcast just recently, and I found this was interesting. He said that they tried to get Alan Covert as the larger of his two friends. You know how it's Norm Macdonald and then the other guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to get Alan Covert, who we will see coming back in every single one of Adam Sandler's movies. But the producers wanted a fatter friend.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know. I thought that was interesting.
That's such a producer note.
It is.
Oh,
it is.
We need a goofy fat guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Goofy fat guy. That's right. Had a crush on Veronica Vaughn.
Oh, Veronica
me
Vaughn.
too.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. Loved Chris Farley in it. Mm-hmm. Even now, even watching that, I thought Chris Farley's stuff was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Was Bridget Wilson, did she go on to do much after this?
I know what you did last summer.
So no.
That's about it that I can think of. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah.
Because
you'll see her every now and then.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, oh, there's Veronica Vaughn. Mm-hmm. What else is she in?
Not a bad actress and smoking hot.
Oh yeah.
She was Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat.
Oh
that's
wow.
Right. I forgot about that.
Huh. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Huh. Okay. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah. So Billy Madison.
I don't want to rank them. There's too many to rank.
No, we can't rank.
So essentially, Billy Madison, we can sum it up by saying it's nostalgic and it's not very good.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. So I didn't look up the actual release dates for these next two movies, but I went to 1996. He had two movies come out: Bulletproof and Happy Gilmore. Should we talk about Bulletproof first?
Yeah.
Well, Happy Gilmore was released in February.
Oh.
Bulletproof was released in September. Happy Gilmore came first.
Okay, let's just do Happy Gilmore then.
Yeah.
Okay.
What'd you guys think?
I watched it today, actually. It was out of the 7 or 8 or so that we're doing today. That's the only one I had left to watch, just because I'd probably actually seen that the most. Earlier, I said there are probably 3 movies that I've seen more than any others. This is one of the other 3, of the other 2, if I leave out from the discussion before. And it holds up better. Mm-hmm. I understand why it was the success it was in comparison to Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more adult-ish.
Yeah.
It is. It's funny. I liked it more.
Me too.
I'll say that right off the bat.
This one holds up for me, actually. This is it's probably my favorite Adam Sandler comedy, is Happy Gilmore. Because I think he wasn't playing a goofy kid who never grew up, essentially, or an adult, or a kid trapped in an adult body like Billy Madison. He was still goofy, and he did his funny stuff. He was clinging to a bit of a childhood dream, in the movie, but it had a lot more adult themes in it, and I think that stuff holds up pretty well, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a good vehicle, I guess, for his. He has this thing. I don't know if it's acting or it's just him, But anytime he has a scene or whatever where he's angry, I kind of want to punch him in the face. I'll just say it like that, because he kind of does this loud yelling. His face gets kind of contorted a certain way every time.
Yeah, his eyes get squinted, and his nose gets even bigger.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, dude, stop, just stop. It bugs me. I don't know why. I don't know why.
You mean when he's doing like goofy angry, or like when he's actually
when he's angry, pretty much, any goofy or otherwise, he's like, why not you? I can't. I don't
see. That's like when he's being goofy angry though. But when he's doing like in Airheads, when he's like. When Steve Buscemi is trying to convince him to be scary when he's holding the fake gun, he's like, "I'm going to stab your head off with my dick."
Yeah.
He genuinely looks like scary in that, and like when he's cursing out the fans in Happy Gilmore, that part where he's being bleeped out on the television, like he's genuinely like
but maybe it's just I'm there's like a bug or something on the wall.
Now, did you always feel this way? Or are we going to have to talk about when this happened? Because I have a feeling that we're going to get a pretty recurring theme from you throughout these movies.
I think so, and I think with this, I might table it until we talk about funny people, because I think that is kind of the thing. Because it's a serious movie, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's yelling at someone in it later, and we'll talk about it when we talk about it. But he does that kind of angry kind of thing, and I'm like. It rubbed me the wrong way. Maybe I'll have more insight when I see it.
Okay.
But for the most part, it kind of bothers me. But it's not to Happy Gilmore's detriment or anything like that, because I still enjoy it, and I thought that it's a fun movie. It's a fun send up of sports movies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take itself too seriously. It has the amazing Christopher McDonald. As the villain, which he's just fantastic.
He's fantastic. And I had such a crush on Julie Bowen in his Happy Place dream sequence. Oh my word.
Oh yeah.
Oh my word.
Like the
I do kind of snicker at the Rube Goldberg ending where he's got to hit the hole in one, and they didn't. They barely set up at all time spent doing this at mini golf places. Like I don't know. That just seemed pretty stupid to me.
Improbable, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, incredibly improbable.
Yeah,
but I mean, so was the whole movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just it's better. It's funnier than Billy Madison. It is a marked improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
so many times watching Billy Madison, again, this is a week ago, I would shake my head and be like, "Man, I was dumb." But I don't think I ever did that with Happy Gilmore.
Right.
I was like, well, it's not the funniest movie I've ever seen, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think now I actually quote this movie more than Billy Madison.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like the part where he's like, she should have been standing there. Like that. I say that all the time. And we're working on that one, dip. I say that all the time.
Yeah. Piece of monkey when I'm pissed about something.
Nice. Ben Stiller in it as the
I'm trying really hard not to do impressions here, but go ahead.
Oh, we have to.
He was so fantastic in it, and that there's that whole kind of undercurrent throughout the whole movie. He's trying to, like, he's doing this thing to save his grandmother's house and all that, and then she's just in hell, and it's so underplayed, and it strikes just the best kind of tone and pacing for that movie.
She's really great, played by Frances Bay, by the way,
who also appeared in The Wedding Singer, which we'll talk about later.
Yep,
cool.
Yeah, she was good. Alan Covert, alert! First appearance of him. He plays his bearded caddy later on. He has maybe 3 or 4 lines in the movie.
Yeah, and we can talk about Alan Covert later, but I don't know.
Why? What's to say later?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm just pointing out that he's in every single one.
Yeah, he's Adam Sandler's friend. Yeah. That's my barometer for his. I'm not. I don't know if I'm a fan of his. Is what I'm trying to say.
I gotcha.
He was in Airheads. I think that was his first.
Yeah, I guess so.
He was
right.
a cop in Airheads, wasn't he?
Was on the,
that's right.
Where he does the scene where they take a step forward and then
You're right.
But this was the first,
speaking.
like
cameo in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, like this is the first Adam Sandler movie he was in.
Right,
so.
right.
Yeah.
Again,
Right.
I know I'm sorry I keep insisting that. Well, we're talking Adam Sandler movies.
True.
All right. Well, so it's all right. It's a pretty good movie. It's not as good as we remember from when we were 10 years old, but it's worth seeing.
Yeah.
And so moving on, same year, like you said, released in September. And I'll probably say it here, of this part, it's probably the best movie.
Bulletproof?
Bulletproof.
Yeah. You know?
I would say Happy Gilmore.
Really?
I would.
Huh. I'd say Big Daddy,
It's-
maybe.
Happy Gilmore's funnier.
Yeah. I liked Bulletproof as a
Bulletproof works
It does.
in way more ways than any of the movies on this list.
as a buddy.
It's a more impressive movie. It's a buddy cop movie. Well, they're not cops, but
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying.
Right.
And I think it's because of Damon Wayans.
yeah.
It's what Matt calls an interracial buddy comedy movie.
Exactly.
Sure.
We
Right.
need to do an entire episode about that.
We will someday.
Yeah.
But-
yeah, we will.
Yeah, this movie's great, and I think part of what makes it great is that this movie's a bit of an anomaly in this segment of his career, because he had Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, where like most of the burden of funny was like on him.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't, but he tried to take it all on.
Yeah.
Even though he has good supporting casts in those movies like Happy Gilmore and Adam Sandler, or I'm sorry, Billy Madison, where he can give them some of the burden of making jokes, but he tries to take it all on. But with Bulletproof, he genuinely shares the burden with Damon Wayans,
And seemingly willingly.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I love about it,
Right.
is that you can tell he's acting in this movie, and he loves being in a buddy movie. I think you guys were texting or in the pod chat while one of you guys was watching it, and you're like, I wish Adam Sandler made more movies like these.
Yes.
I couldn't stress that enough. I can't agree more with you.
Yeah, he's so great when he shares the burden that way.
Yeah.
And I think they did it magnificently, Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler in this movie. It's a really funny movie. It's hugely underrated too. I don't think I saw this movie until like several years later. I think I was like, I don't even think I was a teenager. I think I was like in my 20s before I ever saw Bulletproof.
I saw it, maybe not in 96, but it was the next one I saw. I might have seen it in 97 on home video. Made, not significantly less, 17 million less than Happy Gilmore, 21 million, 6 million opening weekend. So I don't want to call it a bomb, but I would have been worried if I were Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did say I do wish he did more movies like this, because it's a good movie. Like, I'm just retreading the stuff we've already said, but it's no, I enjoyed it, and it was kind of under my radar too. I never saw it until last week, and the reason is because I was more of a Fled guy.
God.
With Stephen Baldwin and Lawrence Fishburne, I think.
Yeah, that movie sucks.
Oh, it's
Stephen Baldwin.
awesome. There's a motorcycle in it.
I watched that movie on your recommendation.
Really?
I did like several years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think we may have been in high school. You were, I think I was talking about this movie maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. Bulletproof. And I was like, oh, it's really good. It's funny. And you were like, oh, I was like Fledmore. And I was like, what is that? I didn't even know what it was. And I watched it. I was like, ugh.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for it. So,
We'll have to
anyways,
host an Obsessive Viewer double feature or something
no.
for it.
Anyways, Bulletproof.
Anyway, yeah, Bulletproof was good, and it's a shame it didn't get the recognition that the movie, quite frankly, deserved.
Yeah.
I also think it works because it was rated R.
Oh, totally.
I think that
Absolutely.
helped its case.
Definitely.
I get the sense often that Adam Sandler is a rated R comedian in a PG-13 world.
Mm-hmm.
That's apt. Yeah.
Oh, and we'll talk about this in part 3 or part 4. Now, I think he's a rated G comedian in a PG-13 world.
Yeah. Maybe
We'll
that's-
talk about that. I kind of mentioned that with Blended.
Right. That's probably the whole. You could probably sum up his entire career that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
So Bulletproof is good. Alan Covert plays a detective in it, by the way.
Wow. Forgot about that.
We learned that Adam Sandler's got pipes in that movie. He can do a wicked awesome Whitney Houston impression.
Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. You don't remember? That's like one.
That's true. Yeah. I wanna. Oh, I wasn't gonna do it.
No.
I wasn't gonna do it.
Till the night closes. Sorry.
So he took 1997 off.
Which one of these next ones came first, Mike?
He was he took a year off. He did 1998 again with the February release with The Wedding Singer.
Okay.
The Wedding Singer, by the way, was a huge success. It made $80 million at the box office, $18 million opening weekend. So I guess you might say it had a bit of a drop off. And it was actually released on New Line Cinema. That's interesting.
Yeah. This was my first time ever seeing it. And
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yep. And it's surprising because I'm a sucker for a good rom-com.
Yeah.
Well, you said a good rom-com.
Exactly. I thought it was okay. I didn't really write any notes for it, but
yeah, I've always seen it as a low point. If I'm looking at these early years, even when I was younger, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, there was that movie.
Yeah, I liked it a lot as a kid, and I rewatched it for this recording, and man, is it not good.
It's just not. It's like, hey, I can sing a little bit. We should probably do a movie about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I don't know.
Drew Barrymore is not good in it. Is terrible.
She's very forgettable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very forgettable. I struggled with understanding why it was set in the 80s. Why go through that trouble if you're going to make a fairly formulaic movie?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because are there wedding singers anymore?
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't think there are.
Yeah, I guess not. But it was, I don't know. I thought the first half hour, 45 minutes was okay. I liked the whole, his character's start. Like, he's kind of this lovelorn kind of guy whose occupation is singing at other people's weddings, and he loses his girl or whatever. But it's kind of just, I don't know.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I do like the part where he plays the song that he wrote for his ex. The song is pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's like that's the high point of the movie for me as far as the funnies go. But that's about it, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Robbie Hart.
Yeah.
And Alan Covert plays his best friend Sammy.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to keep pointing out the Alan Coverts here.
I like Alan Covert in this movie, actually.
Yeah, I did too.
I liked him in this.
Yeah, he was a good.
He actually has something to do for a change.
Right.
Yes. True.
Yeah.
His character had a little bit of depth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I feel like we should spend just as much time talking about it as I spend thinking about this movie, and move on.
Fair enough.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
He had a cameo in the film Dirty Work, which was the first movie after Norm Macdonald's SNL career ended. Again, I wouldn't consider that an Adam Sandler movie, so we'll skip it. In November, he released the movie The Waterboy, and at this time, I was in full Adam Sandler mode. I mean, I was anticipating this. This was probably the highest, the most anticipation I had for one of his releases.
Me too.
I couldn't wait for this movie to come out. Neither could audiences. $161 million.
Oh wow!
Damn.
It was number 3 on the charts. It opened with 39 million.
Huh.
It doubled The Wedding Singer, which was his highest up to that point.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about The Waterboy? Because I have one note about it right now that says,
one note.
That's
it. That's your comment.
Well, yeah. No. I have one note about it.
I know. I'm making a joke about it being one note.
Ha!
No, but it's. I feel like the pitch for this movie was okay. So it's Billy Madison meets Happy Gilmore, but set in the South and with a sport that people actually like.
Yes, that you're exactly right.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it was.
And I mean,
here's the thing. I don't hate it.
Yeah. Has D'Angelo Barksdale.
If it's not for the obnoxious and offensive, his ailment, I don't even know what to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Sandler's the low point of the movie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
All the other characters are kind of okay. Like, I'm curious, what do you guys think of Kathy Bates? Is she genuinely funny in this, or is it just kind of like a kind of gimmicky since she has such a note of being a dramatic actress who's won Oscars for playing crazy people and stuff?
Yeah.
Is it just that? Is it just the gimmick of it, or is she genuinely like funny in this movie?
I think it's more that it's a gimmick.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I would say gimmick, mostly because of the accent.
Well, that and she has these stupid, the stupid accent and the stupid
foosball.
Well, go play foosball with your friends. Yeah. And a devil, it's for the devil. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like she's trying to do an Adam Sandler impression.
Yeah, it is. So I was just curious.
Yeah, kind of. That's a good point.
She did her best.
Right.
Yeah. It's certainly not the first thing Henry Winkler did after Happy Days. He had he did Happy Days and then didn't do anything. But it was the first time I was like, oh, that's Fonzie.
Yeah.
Right.
He was fun in this movie.
Well, that's not true. I guess he was in Scream.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
That's right.
But if you remember, and I've said this before, I didn't see Scream until college.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was a lot of fun in this movie.
Yep.
I remember for a long time people always saying what Mama doesn't know won't hurt her.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
Fairuza Balk as a love interest. I'm not a big fan of hers. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of hers. Just as
I'm not either.
I liked her in this though.
Yeah,
I thought she was good in this.
I don't think she had to play very hard.
That's the yeah. I
like the part where she tells the ESPN guy her prediction for how the game is going to end, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good prediction." She's like,
"Yeah,
ain't no prediction. That's how it's going to be." That's
and it does too.
Yeah,
right.
By the way,
yeah.
I should say that this is one of the movies I watched with my students. It's one of the ones they picked this year, and we watched it like 4 times. I watched it 4 times.
Oh my god!
I watched it in each of my classes, and it wasn't until like the 3rd time that I realized, hey, that is the score.
That's funny.
So again, this is just another quotable one, but it's not very good.
Right. Yeah. It's
same old. I hate to keep saying that with these movies, but there was a trend.
Right.
Until Matt, your favorite Adam Sandler movie, correct? Or your favorite in this segment?
My favorite in this segment, it's a pretty much toss up between this one and Bulletproof, actually.
Okay. Well, this is in June of '99, and I talked about this on my my summer blockbusters segment. Right. I talked about this is when Adam Sandler became the prince of summer because Will Smith was the king of summer. And Big Daddy came out to 163 million, 41 million opening weekend, and it debuted at #1 in the box office.
Wow.
That's man.
And it is if you are a tad younger than we are and you weren't there to experience Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore, this is probably your favorite Adam Sandler movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. It's awesome. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's all right.
You guys want to talk about
awesome,
it?
Awesome, huh?
Yeah, I really like it. I think that it's a. I may have said this or maybe Mike, maybe you said this in the summer blockbuster ones, but it's a good. I think I liked it because it was at a time, it was in the late 90s that I was growing up myself. I was about to be in like junior high and all that, and my elementary school days were Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore. That's and They're All Gonna Laugh at You, his album, and stuff. And then so to go into this new era of my life and seeing this guy who's this goofy guy kind of playing this role that's sort of serious and has these serious overtones or whatever to it, undertones or whatever. It's kind of, it was refreshing. That's the word that I would use to describe Big Daddy.
It was definitely refreshing. It's the one where, now by the time that came out, we were 13 or almost 13, 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, you might have been 13. it's like I wasn't embarrassed. I didn't feel bad watching it with my mom.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't so stupid that I had to like ask my mom to watch it with me. In fact, I think she liked it.
Nice. Yeah, my mom did. I watched it with my parents. Yeah, they liked it.
I don't know if my parents liked it.
I think I liked it a lot when I was a kid and I saw it. But I watched it again for this episode like last week, I think, and it was I wish I could get past this, but kids just suck.
He's so terrible.
Yeah, he's really a bad actor in it, but he's
cute as a button. But so bad.
Actually, I think they're twins. I think
they are. Yeah.
Twins.
They grew up into, well, they had a douchey phase, but I guess in comparison to Justin Bieber, they're relatively normal kids. Cole and Dylan Sprouse.
Yeah.
They never got better. They were on the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Yeah. Wow.
And they are the worst overactors you've ever seen.
But he should have gotten like Haley Joel Osment, because that was right before The Sixth Sense. He was really good in that. Just get a good kid actor for it. I think it'd be more enjoyable now. But you know, I really can't knock it that much because it's a pretty solid movie. I mean, it turns into a surprise courtroom thing, and I don't know. We get there's some solid jokes in there. It's a fun movie. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love.
It's a success. It's a successful movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just loved seeing all his, you know, he doesn't know how to raise a kid, so he does all these goofy things, and that was the high point of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Was all of these weird kind of like the newspaper stuff, taking him to the park and making fun of the rollerbladers and stuff, and it's just, I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I mean, watching it now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna ruin that kid.
Yeah.
But as a kid myself, I was like, oh, no one ever took me to, you know, make fun of rollerbladers.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. I liked it a lot. Jon Stewart has a supporting role in it.
He does.
Yep.
And
he's good.
He is, yeah.
And in this movie, Alan Covert plays a gay lover.
Yeah.
Yep.
With Dante.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Whose first appearance was in The Waterboy.
Right.
Yeah. Oh man, I forgot about the. If we can go back to The Waterboy for a second, probably one of the worst things in any Adam Sandler movie ever is bleep button. Rob Schneider.
He's the worst thing?
Yeah, because the whole, like, you can do it.
Dante was in The Wedding Singer.
Oh, okay.
Correct myself. Go ahead.
But the whole you can do it thing, like, I hated it so much.
It became a thing for some reason.
It did. For some reason.
Yeah.
It became a thing in that scene because it was like 7 times that he said it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, you know, you're done. You did it once. It didn't work.
Did you feel that way?
You just described Rob Schneider's
16 years ago, 15 years ago?
You know, I don't know. I think I was indifferent to it.
I think I played into the popularity and quoted it all the time.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I don't think I went that far.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
I probably just said, oh, that's kind of funny, I guess. And that's kind of even what I said this time when I watched it. I didn't have the hatred you have.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just I don't know. It was just I just was not a fan of it in that movie. But we can go back to talking about Big Daddy, I guess.
Well, okay, so what about him and Big Daddy?
You know, he was good. Because
Yeah.
he wasn't playing because his role was a bit expanded, and his role had a character, like he was a character. He wasn't like, oh hey, there's Rob Schneider saying something stupid.
Right.
It was like, oh hey, here's Rob Schneider playing someone and saying something stupid. So
yeah, he was funnier in this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, Big Daddy made a bunch of money, and he followed that up quite unsuccessfully. You have to wait till the next Adam Sandler, Summer of Sandler Part 2 episode to hear that. But so what do you guys think of Adam Sandler in the 90s? If we're to put a bow on this, how would you describe Adam Sandler's career in the 90s?
I think there was just so much discovery. Because like I said, those first couple movies, it was like he was just trying to get people to notice him and really trying to get his slice of the pie, if you will. So then with movies like, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison, he gets his slice of the pie and he tries really hard, and they're solid movies. But then with The Wedding Singer and The Waterboy and to a certain extent Big Daddy, he starts to realize that he can start putting in less of an effort because he already has an audience.
Yes, absolutely.
And it shows so much on the screen. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't have enough intellect or intuition to pick up on it, but as an adult going back and watching it, you can just tell that he starts to put in much less of an effort compared to Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
And it starts to show, and it's sort of the beginning of his downfall, I guess, when it comes to his comedy career anyways, because he goes on to do some good dramatic roles in the future. But,
right.
That I think it was sort of the beginning of his downfall was towards the end with like The Wedding Singer and Waterboy and Big Daddy. So that's how I feel.
It's funny that you say towards the end, because that's really... looking at the list, it's the beginning.
I know, but towards the end of the 90s, it's like, that's just...
Yeah.
It's sad. By the way, sorry, Big Daddy, up until Grown Ups came out, was his highest grossing film, which I think we can talk about later. But that's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 10, what is that? 15 years?
Something like that.
Almost 12 years.
But anyways, Matt, what about you with Sandler in the 90s?
Kind of when we started this project, or when we were in the planning stages of this project, I was thinking, okay, Sandler in the 90s, that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be so awesome and all that. But I'm now noticing it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
I kind of wish he would have maybe... I kind of wish it would have been maybe another few years or a couple other movies under his belt before he popped with Billy Madison. Because I would like to see more kind of Bulletproof roles,
right.
Airheads, stuff like that.
Yeah, I wish he tried some different stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I wish that's exactly right. I wish he wasn't so successful early on. Right. And he had to kind of find his place. But instead, stupid, ridiculous voices was kind of his place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we allowed him to do that, and he got comfortable.
Yeah. And I'm going to say something kind of bold here. Well, maybe not bold, but it's something that is indicative of a lot of comedic talent just in general. I mean, look at Melissa McCarthy now. She's hitting that one note so hard in all of her movies.
Again, I will only disagree with you in that she started out that way for me, and I think people are just starting to realize it.
Yeah, yeah.
She was Adam Sandler in Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people thought it was great because she was a woman. Oh, women can be just as funny as men. Well, yes, they can. In fact, Kristen Wiig can be funnier than men. But when they're playing on shock, that's not funny. It's not funny just because she's a woman. You have to give me something else. That's a digression. I apologize.
Yeah. Oh no, that's fine.
I really hate her in that movie. That's my point.
I think she's okay in that movie because it's the first time that she's in that.
Yeah, I like her in it.
That kind of thing. She's not worn out, and I don't really get the whole like, oh, men funnier, women funnier, all that kind of thing. I just don't get it. I understand, like, yeah, she's playing this role that's kind of this archetypical role for a comedy movie, but it's fresh because she's a woman. I never really got that. I just thought like, hey, it's kind of funny. It's pretty funny. She's, propositioning herself to this guy that she thinks is an air marshal on a plane. And it's even funnier to me because I know that they're married in real life. Yeah. And it's just kind of, I don't know. Yeah,
whole other discussion.
Yeah. So we'll do that when we do our, the Autumn of McCarthy.
Autumn of McCarthy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which isn't actually about Melissa McCarthy. It's just about McCarthy and communism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Red Scare.
The Red Scare.
Yeah, exactly.
So stupid.
Hilarious.
Anyway, but yeah, for him in the 90s, I do kind of wish he would have done more of those. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, he had like 5 movies before Billy Madison, so it's a hefty portion of his early career. But when he did pop, you can kind of tell he had some It's hard to say. He does it. It's very much a marketability.
Marketability.
That's a word, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a marketability factor to him than it does actual quality, which is something I honestly wasn't expecting to encounter this early in his career in this discussion.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny. We can talk about this more next episode. People refer to the beginning of Adam Sandler's career as the best, but looking at some of the movies in our next segment, I think we're going to be surprised with some of the movies and why did some of the quality of those movies not match up with the money that those movies made. And I think that might be our discussion. I think that might be where we make some of our conclusions.
Definitely.
Did people just want to see Billy Madison over again?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, they did.
Yep.
The Waterboy made a ton of money.
It did.
It did. Ugh. So,
all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Should we throw in a quick potpourri section because we got?
I think we can now. Yeah.
Yeah. I was not anticipating this to take that.
But would we then be obligated to do one for every Sandler episode?
Not really. I don't think. We'll be fine. Do you not want to do potpourri, Tiny?
I just think I think if we did it now, we'd be obligated to do it for all the other ones too. That's all I'm saying. It's fine. We can do one.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do
I don't
it.
have a problem with doing it.
Totes.
Okay.
Let's do it.
You haven't seen Fault in Our Stars yet, have you, Tiny?
Haven't.
Damn it.
I mean, this is a regular episode, right? It's not going to be a bonus episode.
No. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do potpourri.
Yeah.
Okay. Potpourri. Yay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is John Papa Giorgio of Papa's Basement telling you to visit inpapasbasement.com and check out my show. I'd humble brag and say that my 25 listeners can't be wrong, but I'm pretty sure more people were members of the Heaven's Gate cult, so they could indeed be as wrong gets. Still, work is hell, and if you're hearing this, then you definitely have time to kill, so look up Papa's Basement on iTunes and Stitcher, and of course my website, which is once again inpapasbasement.com. I sexily thank you.
With the mood in the room after all those Adam Sandler stinkers, I think we should freshen it up with a little bit of potpourri. What do you guys say?
Yes,
Totally.
I think that works. That works. That's a good idea.
And as you guys know, potpourri is where we talk about movies we've seen, movies we're excited to see, or TV we've seen, or TV we're excited to see, or TV that one of us forced the other people to watch, even though we didn't really want to watch it in the beginning. And when we first watched it, we didn't like it so much, but then found it again later and actually kind of like it a lot. Anything like that. So, you guys?
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got some stuff keyed up for this. Keystone Art Theater here in Indianapolis, they're doing midnight screenings. They've done 3 so far, and they're doing another 5. So they've done, like, the first one was Back to the Future, which finally got to see it on the big screen. So happy to have seen it there. And it played so well. I loved it. So I had that, and then also, last week was Big Lebowski, which I hadn't seen in a long time, and I'd only seen it once. So it was a lot of fun seeing it with a big group and all that, and I'd forgotten a lot of the big moments of it, and there's a reason why that has such a strong following. And then most recently was Raiders of the Lost Ark, which me and Tiny went and saw it Saturday night, and it was I dozed off kind of toward the ending, and I don't remember how loud this was, but Tiny, maybe you can.
It wasn't like so loud that the whole theater could hear it.
But the people around us heard it.
The people around
I
us
snored.
heard it. Some heads turned.
Yeah, I heard some snickers and stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh god. So yeah.
But you gotta tell your joke.
Oh yeah. So I dozed off. It was like, in my defense, it was right before they opened the Ark of the Covenant. So I mean, I had to have my eyes closed. But
Good point. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Other than that, I also I watched I read and watched The Fault in Our Stars, and then I also watched 22 Jump Street. So Fault in Our Stars, I loved the adaptation of it. I really did. I wish it could have been filmed here in Indianapolis, but tax and all that. But
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good adaptation. I thought it was really faithful to the book, and I know Tiny hasn't seen it yet, so I'm going to kind of talking around.
I'm not the first to say this, but I think it's one of the best adaptations of a book I've ever seen. One of the closest, at least.
I would be strongly inclined to agree with you there.
Okay. Yeah.
And it made me so happy because the guy who's directed it, Josh Boone, he is handling the adaptation of The Stand, which is arguably one of Stephen King's best works. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm really excited for Josh Boone's career because, I mean, he just seems like such a cool guy. And like he did that movie, Stuck in Love, which we talked about in a previous Potpourri episode, or Potpourri section. But small tangent, but he's going to be doing Stephen King, the Stand. And I've seen him talk about it, and he's like a diehard Stephen King fan. So that just makes me so happy to see that he's a diehard Stephen King fan. B, he said that Nat Wolff, who was in Fault in Our Stars and Stuck in Love, and also Admission, yeah. He's awesome. I like him a lot. He said that he has a role he's going to have a role in The Stand, which I'm really hoping that he's Nick Andros. And then I forgot my third point, but just that he made a really good adaptation of The Fault in Our Stars, which was a really good book. So yeah.
Which, by the way, you can find my adaptations and remakes on the blog, obsessiveviewer.com.
Links in the show notes, guys.
Yeah, I read the book in less than 24 hours. So
Yeah. It's good. It's a quick read.
Cool.
Yep.
For my potpourri, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the HBO film The Normal Heart. It aired mid-May, end of May, something like that. Man, was it incredibly good.
Nice.
Just a quick tangent. HBO has done a couple of films over the past couple of years that have kind of centered around gay themes or homosexual themes, Behind the Candelabra, specifically. And I guess definitely as a sign of support, like at the opening credits when you see the big HBO symbol and stuff like that, it would have like a rainbow behind it.
Okay.
And so it's great that they support gay rights. I support gay rights 100%, but it just seems a little preachy to me. It's like you're already supporting gay rights by making the movies. It's like you're already making a huge statement just by making the movies. So it just seemed a little unnecessary. I really can't complain about it, but I just kind of noticed it and it sort of irked me a bit. But anyways,
it's like the discussion of how much politics do you want in your art? Right. Like how much agenda do you want in your art, whether you agree with it or not?
Right.
Sometimes you just want the art for the sake of the art.
The art speaks for itself. You don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anyways, but the art, this specific piece of art spoke beautifully. I was just blown away by it on so many levels. Directed flawlessly, an amazing script. Jim Parsons is just absolutely terrific in it. I think he may have been nominated for a Tony when he was in the play, because it's based on a play.
Right.
I'm not sure about that, but he was in the play, so
right.
he had some source for it. And everyone is just terrific in it. Mark Ruffalo is great. Taylor Kitsch, I was really hoping that this was going to be the role that people were going to notice him and be like, this guy is serious. It wasn't quite that for him. I was a little bummed. He was definitely good. I liked him in it. I don't have to try to defend his role like I do with some of his other stuff. So he was good, but not quite what I wanted from him, but I still liked it a lot. It is just an absolute moment in our recent history that a lot of people don't know about. I didn't know about it. For those of you who don't know, it is about how the AIDS epidemic started in the gay community in the United States. And it was, for a long time, it was considered, a gay disease that only existed for gay men. Of course, we now know that it's not, but at the time, there was just so much confusion and just so much that they didn't know from a scientific and a medical standpoint. And just the way it was treated, just societally and medically. It's just an amazing story. It's heartbreaking, but inspiring at the same time. It's just a beautiful movie. You're crazy if you don't see it. So.
I asked you this when you talked to me about it off the air a week or two ago. How would you compare it with Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah, that's a tough comparison. I would, because I loved Dallas Buyers Club a lot more than I know Matt was kind of mixed feelings on it.
Right.
I'd say they're pretty much on par. That's how good it is. I think maybe Matthew McConaughey's performance outshines any performance from The Normal Heart, but the dude won an Oscar for it. I think that's you know, that's kind of a given. Not to say that anyone in The Normal Heart was bad, because they were all just phenomenal. I think it's going to get tons of nominations for any kind of award, you name it, and it's going to win a bunch too, and it absolutely deserves them. So, incredible movie. Definitely watch it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Mike, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah.
So what's up? So I have two bits of information I'd like to share. The first one is short, and the first one I'm going to sound like a broken record. This will be the third time I've mentioned the Friday the 13th movie that's coming out on this podcast, but I have to say it again. This year I'll be turning 28, but for my 29th birthday, it falls on a Friday the 13th, and as Friday the 13th movies are wont to do, they tend to be released on Fridays the 13th. And for my 29th birthday, the greatest birthday present I could receive, Paramount Pictures is releasing, Paramount Pictures and Michael Bay's production company in conjunction are releasing the new Friday the 13th movie.
Nice.
And I can't wait.
That's cool.
Nice.
So that's cool. And there's still all the rumors going around about it. It will be in 3D. It might be found footage, and it might be set in a winter setting.
Wow.
The 3D, I could take or leave, but the other two things I'm thrilled about. We've talked before ad nauseum about like where found footage has gone and if we're excited, but I like the idea of a slasher found footage movie that does something for me.
I forget. Is it a reboot?
They don't know. We don't know.
Okay. Cool.
It's I like the idea of a winter setting.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
I am like, I'm excited for it, like by association, just because of your excitement for it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We, a couple weeks ago, or 10 days ago, as of this recording, Friday the 13th, was also a full moon. So we had a Friday the 13th party and we watched part 6.
Nice.
Yeah. So I love Friday the 13th. The other thing I want to talk about is I finally watched Iron Man 3 for the second time at home.
How'd you feel? Wait, first, sorry. How'd you feel about it on your first viewing?
I didn't like it that much.
Okay.
I feel like we talked about it before. I know you guys loved it.
I just wanted to refresh my memory.
Yeah. But I was not thrilled by it. The second time watching it, I feel exactly the same. And it's a weird conversation to have about it. Usually we have the conversation, sure, it looked cool and it was fun, but was it a good movie? This time I want to ask, there were times where, in comparison, in the scope of action movies, it was well done. But was it a good comic book movie? And I'm going to give it a strong no. I don't think it was a very good comic book movie at all. And some would say, well, we're in an era where we don't really want that anymore. And I guess that's true. The Dark Knight, I've said 100 times on this show before, was not a comic book movie. It's a crime thriller featuring Batman. But Iron Man, in its jocular, the way the movie was played, is acted like a comic book movie, but the story is not comic booky enough for me. It really rubs me the wrong way how much time Tony Stark spends outside of the suit.
Yeah.
And then also the entire sequence where he's saving the people out of Air Force One, and the fact that scene ends with the suit being run over by a car and you find out that Tony's not in it. I have a real strong bugaboo lately for scenes where the tension from a scene that you just watched is ruined by a scene that happens afterwards. I really, really hate when that happens. And that there was no tension the second time, because I know they still have to save the people, but why would Tony Stark ever get inside an Iron Man suit again? Ever. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. It's better than the second one. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Just reacting to that, I having watched it again as well a few times, I like the context you put it in, because as a standalone comic book movie, it's not really great from that context, from that perspective. But you can't view it you can view it as a standalone movie, but I can't help but view it as the third installment of a trilogy. And I think in the context of the trilogy, I thought it was phenomenal. The way it wrapped up the character and the storylines. And to your point about him being out of the suit so much, I think it's because we learn at the ending that he was trying to learn to live without it. Because, you know, in the end he gets, spoiler alert, he gets the metal taken out of his chest, so he doesn't necessarily need, he doesn't need the magnet in his chest anymore. And so throughout the movie, I feel like those were steps for him learning to live without it. That's how I felt about it anyways. So, but you definitely have a point that as a standalone comic book movie, not the best.
Right.
Yeah.
My whole thing about it was very fun. The comic relief was great.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a spy movie instead of comic book movie. And I dug that a lot. I was really into that.
The villain was a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to Guy Pearce's discredit.
I think that's a big deal.
Yeah. The villain was beyond forgettable.
Yeah. And I mean, the Mandarin gets a lot of flack.
Yeah.
But I thought that it was played pretty well. I don't know the comics
liked it.
that well. Thank you.
I swear no allegiance to Iron Man in terms of my comic book devotion. And so I know a lot of Iron Man fans, if there are any, whatever, you don't like Iron Man, they were pissed about what they did with the Mandarin. But I thought that was funny. That was more interesting, like you said, than Guy Pearce's character.
Right. Definitely. And not to Guy Pearce's discredit. I think it was just a poorly written, poorly constructed character.
Sure, yeah. Agreed.
I like Guy Pearce quite a bit.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Really quick, what do you guys think of Snowpiercer? Have you heard anything about that or anything? Nothing.
I've only heard the trailer described to me, and then I saw a poster for it in my Entertainment Weekly. So that's all I know about it.
That's good, because I saw an ad on Facebook or on IMDb that said like snippets of review stuff and everything. I don't even know when the movie comes out, but saying like, oh, it's like one of the best sci-fi movies of recent times or something like that. And I was like, I kind of don't want to know anything. I want to go in completely free. Maybe we can do an episode about that. But
cool.
I don't know, when did that come out?
Yeah, I'm glad I don't know anything about it. That's an interesting title.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Comes out June 27th.
Oh, this Friday.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah. So, is that it?
Yeah.
Is that all we got?
I think that'll do it.
Yeah. This was it was far shorter than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
As always, thank you for listening to the Obsessive Viewer podcast. This was the first of our planned 4 episodes of examining the career of Adam Sandler. So check back frequently for those in the coming weeks and couple months. Thank you to Star Tissue for providing our awesome opening theme music. You can find more of their music at soundcloud.com/startissue. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes and let us know what you think by doing that. Also vote for us for Podcast of the Month on podcastline.com. And please like our Facebook page at facebook.com/theobsessiveviewer. And you can also follow each of us on Twitter. You can find me, I'm Matt, at Obsessive Viewer. Tiny is at Obsessive Tiny, and Mike is at I am Mike White. You can also check out the blog at obsessiveviewer.com, where we're posting a lot of good content. I actually made I put in my calendar on my tablet like a schedule of all the stuff that I want to post on the blog in the coming 2 months, and it's terrifying. So we'll get those posted hopefully on schedule. Also, check out our sister website, the Obsessive Book Nerd, at obsessivebooknerd.com. It's where we review books and provide commentary on the ever-evolving world of reading. And also check out Tiny Side Project, The Secular Perspective. It's a podcast examining the roles and of religion and secularism in the world today, and healthy debate and discussion of those two topics. Check that out at thesecularperspective.com, also on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, all that stuff. Finally, if you have any thoughts on the podcast or suggestions for future topics or anything like that, you can email us. I'm Matt at obsessiveviewer.com. Tiny is Tiny at obsessiveviewer.com, and Mike is Mike at obsessiveviewer.com. That about does it.
Did you say Mike at obsessiveviewer.com?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, the emails. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, is that why you left?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Alright, well that about does it for us, so thanks for listening, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening.
This was a far shorter than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Well, I think our episodes are too long anyways.
What?
I think our episodes are too long anyways.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah. So, alright, well, we're still getting back in the groove of things after, PopCon. So, alright, well, let me bring up my list of crap to say. We're so out of the game here.
You're not going to leave this in.
No, probably not.
I thought you said we're so out of the game, like addressing the listeners.
No,
That's
I kind of did, and I'm not going to keep it in. Okay, anyway.
Are you okay?
No, I've got AIDS. Too many roughed up suspects. Okay.